Oh, Jesus Christ.
Take that, you nippy little buggers. I mean, he's not that crazy, he's just Welsh. I don't know why I doubted myself. What is good, people of YouTube? We have a really interesting day here today. We are going to do some foliar feeding with some fertilizer on our grass with a Tow and Fert. It is very, very interesting. We're doing some really cool stuff. But first, we're going to have a little bit of a calving update. So let's rock and roll. So last week, I told you, I think we were down to 20 or just under 20. We're now down to 13 left to calve. We've just had this beauty just here. Whoa! Fenton is protective. I don't like cows that do that. Fenton, you're going to need to watch yourself, love. I probably made a bit of a wrong move earlier. She'd calved right over by the barrier and I went up to it literally as soon as it hit the floor. And she was not happy about it. That's actually the last of the new cows to calve. So they're all done, all 27 of them. Dad said that I think it was 37 days between the first and the last one calving. Well, they really cracked on with it. I could do with like, I don't know, 250 of them like that. She doesn't half love that calf though. I'm gonna have to just watch myself for that one. And as you all know, Tow and Fert turned up last week. So very exciting. Gonna go and crack on with some Tow and Fert stuff. Got some quite interesting stuff that we're putting on. We'll talk you through a bit more about that in a minute. However, I had a little bit of a play with it yesterday and I couldn't get it to turn on and off. Spoke to Peter, he couldn't quite work out what was going on. He said, why don't you just go and have a little bit of a look underneath, see if there's a problem, you know, whatever. It turns out that the people who had the Tow and Fert on demo before us have a little bit of a rat issue. So I've got to go and put some wires back together. Now I don't know how well you can see this, but under here, if I get my phone out, there is a little ram. See that, a little hydraulic ram there? It's just a little linear actuator, electric one, and that's what alters the pressure because the whole booms thing works on pressure. That actuator is what alters the pressure. Trouble is that if you look under here, this wire is what runs to that actuator, and it's had a right good chew on it. Look at this right down here as well. This rat's had a go. Now I think it is a dual cord wire, but there is plenty of slack here, so I'll just be able to tap into that and attach it again, and hopefully we'll be up and running in no time. You in there, girl? Come on, baby. Come on, honey. Clamp ya. Did I get you? Oh, Jesus Christ. This is always the worst bit. Just trying to get them all to hold together whilst you clamp the bloody thing. Oh, go on, don't fall out, don't fall out. Oh my God. Nightmare. Yeah, boy. Oh, Jesus. I'm rubbish at this. Right, now we just got to pull her out and try it. Hopefully, that'll be all right. But I've only got 68 kilos of water in here, so I might have to get some water first, but we'll give her a go and see what happens. Nothing's happening. I think maybe we've blown a fuse, or the rats have blown a fuse. So we'll give her another look. That one's all right. That one's all right, I think. Oh no, that one's blown. There we go. That's the one. Let's try a fresh one. Right, I just brought her up the field because we need to get some more water out of the brook because there's just not enough in there to try it out properly. Oh, Jesus, I had a mad panic then. This key fob, that's just John Deere's beeping, drives you mad. This key fob is the tiniest thing in the world. This needs attaching to the tractor because honestly, every 5 minutes I think I've lost it. That's all that this thing uses to work. It's incredible, really. Whilst we're waiting for her to fill up, let's just talk about this grass. Because, oh my God, look how much grass we've got. Now, you might remember about 4 weeks ago, whatever it was, when we were talking about getting cows out to grass, this was the field that the cows were in. And look at the regrowth. It's absolutely mental. Now, grazing grass with your cows will stimulate grass growth. Kind of sounds a bit backwards, but it's true, it works. Apparently there's something in cow saliva that makes grass grow, but even disregarding that, just nibbling the top off will get grass growing. It starts to get it moving in the spring. I know it's been wet, so I know some people can't get out on the grass. And this wasn't exactly the Sahara Desert when we put cows on it. There was a few footholes and so on and so forth, but nonetheless, the grass regrowth has been incredible. Now, there is something about grass. If you graze your grass in March, as opposed to not grazing it in March, when you get to May, the difference in cover will only be 100 kilograms of dry matter per hectare. So it is well worth getting out and doing that early graze, because that grass is so much better than the grass you're going to have the rest of the year. It's so much higher in protein, ME, everything. It's just way better. So getting out, getting across your grass makes such a difference. And this has had no fertilizer. It will have, because we're going to go over it with the Tow and Fert. But, I mean, just look at it. Right, back in the yard for the moment of truth. Let's see if we got this girl working. Whoa, there we go, happy days. Baldy 1, rats none. Take that, you nippy little buggers. Right, now we gotta fill her up. Sticking in some urea, humates, molasses, and Epsom salts. And I'll talk to you about why in a minute. Right, so I've been chatting to John Williams, who is kind of like a crazy soil scientist guy. I mean, he's not that crazy, he's just Welsh. He knows his stuff, and he's been putting a bit of a mix together. So he put urea in, which is obviously our nitrogen. Now, nitrogen is really important because nitrogen is the fuel that makes plants grow. But it's not the only thing that's important for plant growth. So the other things we're going to put in is some molasses. Molasses is the carbon source. For every bit of nitrogen you put in, you need to be putting in some carbon source. It helps it be more efficient and grow better. So molasses, just normal molasses. Humates, humic acid, we're going to put that in. We need 200 grams of humates for every 20 kilos of nitrogen. Again, another carbon source, but it's just kind of a different carbon source. The other thing, Epsom salts. Epsom salts are really important. Magnesium sulfate. Now, magnesium sulfate increases chlorophyll production. Chlorophyll production, for those of you who did GCSE biology, is what makes plants green. The greener your plant, the more photosynthesis it can do. The more photosynthesis it can do, the more it'll grow. It's just basic biology, but it's kind of smart, I suppose. So we put in 4 kilos of Epsom salts for every hectare. That should be enough, especially with it being foliar fed. So the thing about foliar feeding is it's way more efficient. So we can put less stuff on and get the same amount of response. So it's kind of a win-win. So we're going to spread this on a herbal ley. Now you might have noticed, I don't know if you can tell, but there's like a purpley tinge to this grass, and that's because the grass is kind of stressed. So if I just pluck this leaf, you see that? See that horrible kind of brown look? It's been so wet this winter. For those of you who haven't been aware, it's rained a lot, and the ground has become quite anaerobic because it's sat wet and it's sucked all of the oxygen out of the soil, which has stressed the plants. So what we're doing with all this concoction, the potion we've got in the back of here, is we're going to kind of hopefully bring that soil back to life. The main thing with this is because it's foliar fed, it goes onto the plant's leaf, and the plant's leaf is kind of like a solar panel. So we feed in the plant's leaf, which allows for all that goodness to go into the plant, feeds the roots, and then exits the roots through carbon excitate into the rhizosphere, gets the soil biology going. It's kind of basic science, but it makes sense. Oh, and I brought the drone along for a ride, and it's kind of going to be the first time I've actually had it out since I crashed it. So a little bit nervous about that. New gateway going in here. I'm gonna make that actually a 15-foot gateway because that gate post was off. There's no wooden one. It's concreted that in. So it's just to make grazing a little bit easier because we're gonna eventually graze this herbal ley. But as I mentioned, this is a herbal ley. The plan is for this is it's gonna get silaged first. And as you can tell, these fescues that are in it are really starting to motor now. They're pretty tall. They're like and that one's waist height. And if you look closely all the way across, that started to motor. But some of the other grass species are kind of just lagging behind a bit of these ryegrass types. Some of the timothy's growing, and the red clover there is growing, the white clover's starting to make a move. But that's the reason why we've decided to give it a little bit of nitrogen, because I know a lot of people will say, well, it's a Herbal, it doesn't need any nitrogen. Yeah, it doesn't need any nitrogen. There is nitrogen there. There's a lot of legumes in it. It will fix nitrogen. But because we're trying to get the production going, grass growth is slow this year because it's cold, because it's wet. We're thinking little tiny bit of nitrogen, not that much that's going to inhibit the legumes that are in it. They'll still come, they'll still grow, but just enough to get everything moving means we'll get a grass cut off this. And then when that greens up again, we can graze the aftermath with some cows, because we're going to need as much silage as we can get. And we're going to go and do this one as well. This is another Herbal lay. This is that we drilled. Do you remember last February and then it snowed and everyone was like, oh, it won't grow. Bit wet there though. That's what ploughs do to your fields. Look, you see that little bit of a hollow corner? It's where the ploughs pulled the soils out of the corner. Bloody ploughs. No good for nothing, them things. Now there is one more thing I want to try with this Tow and Fert. Actually, that's a lie. There's two. I want to do some small seeds through it, but it ain't really small seeds kind of weather, is it? But you can apparently chuck water in here and then sort of pre-soak clover, anything round. Clover, mustard, kale, that kind of thing. You could probably get away with lucerne. It's nearly round, but don't blame them if that goes wrong. I said it, they didn't. But the other thing you can do is you can utilize dirty water for your water source. We don't really have like a dirty water lagoon, but what we do have is this tank. Now this tank is actually the silage pit effluent, but the silage pit is currently full of muck and it's been raining a lot. As I've mentioned, it's been kind of wet. There's a pipe runs the other side of that shed, goes underneath that shed and comes to this tank. So I'm going to suck up this water out of it and use it, because that water from that muck is going to have a bit of poke in it. Oh, it's going down, it's going down. I might have to wash this out from when I'm done. I just don't think they're going to thank me for this. But it's filling up. Just had a fair bit out of that tank. Pull her out and have a look. You see? That's why they have a filter on the bottom. Let's hope it sprays all right now, because I don't want to have to clean it out really. Should have thought about that. Right, here we go. Watch the girls unfold. This is the moment of truth. Wish me luck. I'll come on to the red clover, because I thought this kind of looks like it needs a bit of extra spruce. Oh my God, it's coming out! Oh, I don't know why I doubted myself. This thing's brilliant. It'll just handle anything. You know what? First time we had this thing on demo, we just used basic urea and like put a bit of molasses in. It didn't really do anything too fancy. Then the second time we chucked all that lime at it and just gave it hell with the lime, and it handled that perfectly fine. And now I just use that dirty water. I honestly think if they say it's gonna do those small seeds, it is gonna do those small seeds. This thing just, oh, it just takes anything. Just throw it at it, it just loves it. Can we just come and appreciate this? Oh my word. Now if that doesn't give you a funny feeling in your trousers, I don't know what will. Look at these beauties. I've not really seen these much because Dad does the shepherding and does all the rotating. Oh, just look at them. Field full of stabilizers. They look cracking. They look like they're doing so well. There you go. That's exactly what I like about a cow. You know, see that's carrying a nice bit of weight, short, kind of dumpy, a little bit like me. That's a cow I like, that is. Now I stuck the drone up, as you can see right now, and you'll see where these guys are on this field, but you'll see also where they've had their allocations previously in this field, and then also over the brook on the other side where they were before that. So that means that this is perfect Tow and Fertin regrowth right now. So 3 days onwards, getting that nice little bit of regrowth. We can get on there with this nitrogen and it will just pick it up and boom, away it'll go. Honestly, I think they look amazing. Why you wouldn't want a field full of stabilizers, I don't know. Just look at them. Anyway, that's enough looking at cows. I'm gonna crack on with this and get it on this aftermath. But there is something in the yard that you guys might want to see. So Peter had to nip over to King's Lynn and he got his trailer on, he wanted to drop it off. So he called in and dropped his trailer off, and look at this. This is a Tow and Fert Multi 500. This is the smaller one, and this is perfect for going behind like a buggy or a quad bike, and it holds 500 litres of water, has one single nozzle on the back of there. It can do like 7 to 10 acres. Oh, it's just an absolute mint piece of kit. It's got a little Kohler engine on there, key start and a pull start. It has a little control box so you can do it electric on and off. It has a manual on and off if you're on a quad bike and you don't want to use the electric one. A sweet bit of kit. I've never seen one of these in the flesh. That is nice. Really nice. This one, as I said, is the smallest. Then it goes to the 1000, which is what we're using. It goes 1200, 2.8 and a 4000. The 4000 is massive, and that's what Peter's had to go to King's Lynn and just look at. That's doing some really cool stuff for compost. Honestly, the things that these things can do is unbelievable. It's just out of this world. But yeah, it's a smart bit of kit. That's going somewhere in Wales, so apparently. So if you're in Wales and you bought one, it's sat in my yard. Anyway, that is probably enough for this week. Oh, but while I think about it, before you go, 2nd of May, there is a farm walk on our farm talking about cow fertility. So if you're a farmer and you're interested, go to the HDB website. I'll link it down below. You can book on there. It's completely free. Apparently there's going to be pizza. I know I like a bit of free food. Come along. It's 5 PM till 8 PM. There's going to be an open discussion. There's a nutritionist here. There's going to be loads of stuff. It's going to be really good. So if you want to come to that, make sure you get signed on. Link's down there somewhere. Anyway, whatever you get up to this weekend, have a great one. I've got some Tow and Fert to go and do. So wish me luck. See you in a bit. Ta-da. Hey, if you haven't seen it already, why not check out this video, or you can subscribe by clicking on that logo. Alternatively, head to www.bodysfarm.com where you can read more about the farm, check out some blog posts, or treat yourself to some of the amazing clothing that we wear here every single day. Cheers.